Hello guys, this is Anil, and today we will see the one of the most common interview question on DB2 module is pre-compilation. So this is very common question. Even I ask many times to a lot of interviewer people who come to me, and when I was in interview panel, and I ask the same question that can you please explain me pre-compilation? I get a lot of varieties of answer, good and bad both. So basically, how do I start it? Okay, let's understand the basic knowledge. Okay, before we go to the point of precompilation, basic knowledge here is we are dealing with two different languages, COBOL and SQL embedded. That's what we call embedded SQL terminology. Like two different languages or two different technologies come together and they term it as embedded, like hardware mobile has a software Android. Yes, this is called embedded technologies. This is like embedded SQL. So when you write a COBOL DB2 program, you are having a part of COBOL code plus a part of SQL code as well. Now this what you have written is always called as source code. Whatever the program you write, it's referred as a source code, which only you and I can read it. Whoever knows actual English can read it, but not the machine. So what we need to do is we need to convert the code to the machine understandable code, or in our case we term it as load module. We need to convert into load module. For that, if it is only COBOL program, then we can use IGY, CRCTL as the compiler and HEWL as the link edit to get the load. Now, some people have knowledge, most people doesn't know why there are two steps. When this is the compiler, what the point of using this one? Anyway, we'll deal this point in later class. Today we will only focus more on the pre-compilation, possibly. So if it is only COBOL, you need to do in this particular way. Through the load is what you will be getting the output. If it is a COBOL DB2 program, we need to do a pre-process step, a pre-step or a pre-process step to remove the SQL part from the program. Since it's a step prior to compilation, it's called pre-compilation. Okay, since we are doing one step ahead before going for COBOL compilation, then it's referred as a pre-compilation. So when you're answering an interview, you don't need to tell all this stuff. You can say that in pre-compilation process, that's what you can start with a simple phrase. In pre-compilation process, we use DSN HPC. This is the utility which we need. We use this utility to comment and replace. This is the standard words you have to use: comment and replace the SQL code with COBOL suitable code. This is the standard line you have to mention. In depth, if you want to know, like in COBOL DB2 program, there are only two things that will be related to DB2. One, with exit SQL as an include statement to add your copybooks. Another exit SQL with your query to access the data. Apart from these two, there is nothing in a COBOL DB2 program. Don't think DB2 programs are bigger or funnier or crazy. Entire things I'll tell to my lot of my students that if you have 1,000 lines of COBOL code, COBOL DB2 code, 900 lines are COBOL. Of that, 100 lines will be, that 100 lines also very much actually will be related to SQL, because you have a query. Even though you write all the 4 queries also, hardly it will take some 70-80 lines. But you will not have a program having all queries in it. Maybe a select query, maybe a select plus insert, maybe select plus insert update, very rare cases. So learning 100 lines of program is very easy. Don't worry on this one. Okay. Anyway, come back. Let's go fast to this one. So in this particular step, what we need to do is, or what this particular utility has to do is to remove these 2 points. It has to remove the include statements. It has to remove the query part. So how it does? So wherever it finds include statement, it will expand the copybook. Expand in the sense get the copybook into your program itself. Okay. So when your copybook is within the program, this line can be comment out. So these lines are no more in the program. It has been replaced with suitable COBOL code. Similarly, the query part. Okay, so what we do with the query is we extract. The utility will extract as output into DBRM. Now most people know this word. This is a name or the library where your queries has been extracted and stored as a member. Since the query has been removed from the program, I no longer need this query. So what we do, we will have to comment out this line as well. Now, the best part to know here is if the query is removed, at some point when I'm executing, the data should be getting into the program, out to the program through query. So for here, system will replace with a call statement, a subroutine, a DB2 subroutine which can access the plan package for your query, for your data actually. We'll come back to this point of two words in next few minutes. Understand, in interview you don't need to explain all these points. Be very clear that this first step will remove the SQL code and replace with suitable COBOL code, which is like variable declarations of your copybook, or replacing the query with a call statement. So once this step is done, okay, this is step 1, assume. Once step 1 is done, what happens to step 2 is you will left with only COBOL code, which is known as modified COBOL code. Modified COBOL code. And again, lot of interviews you will say that the program will be split into two halves. Left side it will go to COBOL, right side it will go to DBRM. Don't give that answer. That won't happen in your anywhere. Maybe you have seen some diagram such a way, but in reality it won't happen. Your JSL has step 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Step 1, do this. After completing step 1, go and do the step 2 like that. Jobs are scheduled in of a collection of steps only. Anyway, so once your pre-compilation is done, where your SQL part is been removed and replaced with COBOL code, you are left over with only COBOL code, which will go with the regular compilation with IGY and it'll go for link edit. The third step, if I want to add a step number, this is for link edit, which will be done by HEWR or IEWR or any other program where you get the load as output. Now you can specify one more line in the interview saying that after pre-compilation job or process, we get a DBRM and a load for the program. Now continue the answer, do not stop here, continue the answer saying that we use DBRM to as input in bind process to get package and the plan. Now of course till here you can answer and wait. Let the interviewer ask you few more questions, like topmost question will be the difference between package and plan. Okay, I know you want to answer this as well. Don't answer immediately, let it be. He may interested, he may not be interested in this question at all. When he asked about pre-compilation, the answer ends here itself. Okay, saying that In pre-compilation, we'll have 1, 2, 3 steps. We'll be converting the code into DBRM into load, and then using DBRM, we'll convert into package and plan. Final. This is the final answer for pre-compilation. Let him ask about package and plan. This is the next question that will come into his brain, his line of questions. So DBRM is not the suitable query to run, because when you write exec SQL, when you want to select some data, select some column name into some host variable from table name. This is what you will be writing in the program. This is what you will be running in the program. But does it query have the schema name? DB2 without schema, it won't execute. Okay. And people who doesn't know the word schema in DB2, please go back to your basics fundamentals. Schema is one of the most important to learn as well. Okay. You need to know the architecture. If you don't know, understand the structure here: SSID, database, table space, schema, table name, view name, alias. So if you don't know any of these words, then you have to Google little more knowledge on individual items and understand what they are. Okay. And again, in Google you will find only information, not the knowledge. Okay. Knowledge is need to be shared by someone. You need to get someone train you, whether your friend or some other person. Get trained and then understand the concept. Don't just listen to my recordings and think that you know mainframe. My recordings are to the people who are already aware of mainframe from some other training but lack some real project level knowledge. Okay, to only those people. If you are a fresher, okay, if you are a fresher, I request you learn mainframe from someone, then see my recordings for knowledge. So in your program, you don't mention the schema name. Okay, there is a reason as well. Okay, we don't mention schemas because of one particular main reason that I won't reveal now. Second thing, the access, the owner access. Your ID will not have access to run in production. Tomorrow you will be leaving the company. Your ID will not be there after you are left on the company, right? So you need to mention which ID it has to use to run the queries. The SSID, again, like I told, if you know this, don't know this word, you need to go back. Then most important is mentioning the isolation level, the lockings. The program query what you have written and the query that came into DBRM doesn't have these things at all. Okay, this query is not ready for execution. Take it and put it in spoof your QMF and run it. It won't execute because it doesn't know the schema name. It doesn't know whose access to use. So these all things we will mention in the bind process. So bind process is used to create the package, and whenever anybody asks what is a package, you say it as a bound form in the sense updated format of the SQL query. Okay, whatever the package, whatever the query you have written in the DBRM, this package, while creating the package, we will mention, okay, we provide the bind parameters. We will provide the bind parameters and create the package. Remember, DBRM is one of the most important thing. It is required, but it is not ready to execution. For that, you need to run the bind process, and again, wherever I have written bind process, mention IKJEFT01. This is the friend of DB2. Anything you want to run at DB2, this can help you. So when you create a package, you will mention the schema name which should be used for your table, the owner, the SSID, isolation levels, and some more parameters along with that, like member, what particular DBRM you are using as an input, and some other collection ID details as well. Once your package is created, now package is ready for execution. This is a code ready for execution. But the question here is, how do I execute? Writing a query on a notepad will not be executed automatically. Writing a query in a Word document, it won't execute automatically. You need a connection to your database. You need some link to your database so that I can run the query. If you are running in the tool of a spoofy or QMF, these are already linked to the DB2 systems. So they know how to execute it. Similarly, to run any package of query, we need plan which contains the access path. Access path in this is not a road to go somewhere. Okay, the connectivities, the link to your system, to your subsystem. So we need the plan telling the system to run which package. So most people know this line that package is not executable, plan is executable. Yes, this is suitably the right answer to tell, because DB2 architecture is that way. Okay, DB2 software, we did not invent it. IBM has invented it, and they mentioned that if the system want to run any query, it should run through a plan. Even Spoofy and QMF backend, they have their own plans as well. So they all not will be revealed to you. So, but still, the queries are executed always through a plan only. If you know the plans of DB2 system, you can write a JSL also to run your query directly. I have that programs as well. But remember, in DB2, queries are executed through plans, not directly. Okay. So final point, precompilation is simple way to tell is to uh, taking input as COBOL DB2 program and getting the output as your what, load and DBRM. Then you do for the pre-compilation, sorry, bind process, and use the DBRM to create the package and the plan. Now, the questions will not end by this. You will have subsequent question. What is minus 8.8? Okay. Yes, you don't mention anything revealing before here itself. Okay, most people try to say that there will be a timestamp assigned. Yes, everybody knows it. Wait for the question. Don't answer it immediately. Wait for the question. You should answer at least 5-6 questions instead of answering all at once in one question. Count of answers is important, not the information what you're sharing. So they will ask you what is minus 818. Let them come. Minus 805. Don't say you got 805. Okay. In projects, we don't see this. We don't see this as well. Okay. Of course, I have seen in my 10 years experience, but if your resume is saying like 2 or 3 years experience, don't confirm that you are say that confidently that you have seen this. Why? Because I'll give a reason also. What is the reason? So let's say you are saying that minus 805. The reason what you say that one of the common reason what I hear is I forgot to do bind or to do bind. This is one answer they will say. Or the other reason is I gave wrong plan name. Now, why do you want to accept your mistakes? Being a developer for 3 years experience, why do you give your own mistakes in the interview that you forgot to do bind and you forgot to do plan, give the wrong plan name? Don't tell all these things. You say that yes, I know what is 805, but we haven't seen 805 in our project anywhere during its process. So you can just say that what it is. Similarly, 818, okay, 818, why you'll get, yes, you know the answer saying that whenever there is a mismatch in the timestamp. Okay, again, why this? You need to say again the same answer, that I had a change and I forgot to do by. Forgot to do by. Come on. Again, why you want to say your mistake? And project lead, when you want to speak on the project point, okay, if you are a guy who already did a project and refreshing, you know the answer, that you use tools to do compile. It already know it. Okay, the compile procs already have a step to do compile and bind as well. We don't need to do anything manually in good of the projects, so you will not see this as well. Other questions, okay, there will be one more intelligent question that will come into interview. Most of my students face that. I have somewhere like uh, the count asking for a plan, how many packages. For a DBRM, how can I have how many packages? Or a program can have how many DBRMs? Like this, the how many questions is very common. Along with that, another interesting question what I hear from my students is like saying that there is a program A is calling B, which is calling C, and B is having COBOL DB2 program, and A and C are only COBOL code. How do you compile? How do you compile and execute? Of course, even I will ask this kind of questions. Sometimes I even go and ask them to tell how to code as well and how to execute. So while executing, what commands are used? What is the command to use, or what is the program to use? Now these are all link up or associative questions. Bring up the topic of pre-compilation in interview. If you are answering well, you will can answer at least 3 to 4 questions on the same topic. Okay, on the same topic. They will ask you like, if there is a change in COBOL DB2 program, how do you approach? Same thing, everything interlinked. All you have to do is know the fundamental. Okay, again, this is too much information and in theory only. I will, just like I did the practicals for SOC 7, I will also upload one more video later whenever I get time for doing this in practical. I'll show you the compiler. Of course, it's a training compiler, but it's same what we see in the project with little more advanced in the project, with more or less in the training systems. So the next video will be the practical of compiling a COBOL DB2 programs. Now, if you are liking these particular videos, if you need more videos, please do subscribe. I'm only uploading videos when I see good subscribing people who are waiting for the videos. So if you are seeing this video, if you have half passed this video, please do subscribe for our next video notifications. You will not get much of blinking notifications. You will get only one notification a week or 2 weeks. And others who don't know mainframe, please do get training from someone before you see these all recordings. These are all random recordings which are most important for interviews but not for training. Trainings are more different. You should have basic terminology knowledge to keep at least 3 to 4 years resume in your intro purpose. Okay, if you are a non-experienced, if you are trying for 3+ or 4+ experience, complete your training first, interview level and project level. When I give a work to any of you, you should be completing like 3 years experience, not like a fresher taking time of days of tests to complete it. Okay, a lot of students suffer for the same. Anyway, we will catch up in the next recording. Please do subscribe, and of course you've seen that there are questions below but not answered. Give me the answers from your side, from the comments. Based on that, I'll understand what's your knowledge of those topics, and I'll make another video if I feel that it is required to make you learn those small topics as well. Okay, until then, see you, bye bye.